Recording in progress.
All right. Well, good morning. Glad you guys are here, David. Glad to have you with us. Appreciate it. And hopefully some other people will join in. If not, they can watch it at their leisure at some other point. Hey, this is more kind of a scatter shooting sort of session. And I want Vincent to, in fact, Vincent, if you want to sign in, because I'm going to talk about a little bit about, buy side, neighborhood news, Hannah E-card, that kind of thing. And so maybe when we get to that place, I can share the screen with you and you can just kind of go in and show people kind of where those things are. I'm not trying to get into it, deep, but the point I'm trying to make today is there are all sorts of different strategies, different ways of getting the things done that you want to do. And David, I'm going to talk about Beth Ann Boone a little bit this morning too, because I went to that event for her last night, or not for her, but that she put on in regards to Clean Louisa County, and she was a rock star in that meeting yesterday afternoon, and you could tell people are really appreciative of her taking thing on. And what's that? Maybe it was when you were switching back and forth. Yeah. So anyway, David, I'm going to forward you right now a copy of the handout. It's really more just kind of an outline versus anything else. And for those of you that are watching this on the recording, as always, Vincent will have this on the Agent Only Facebook page, and he can put the handout on there as well. So I'm just gonna see. All right, so there you go, David. It should be coming your way right now. I think I did it via your Howard Hanna email address, so look for it there. So again, kind of scatter shooting. I really want you guys to kind of talk about, Kelly obviously getting just started, but I want you to kind of brainstorm with me about different things that I'm talking about here, and Todd, Vincent, David, things that you're already doing. I mean, example, not to get ahead of myself, but David and Beth Ann Boone are putting a listing on the market this weekend, and they're going to do a Friday evening open house, kind of a different sort of thing. Friday evening open house to point toward the Sunday open house. And David and I talked a little bit about that yesterday in regards to some strategy with that. But that's really a cool thing. And if you're I'm not exactly sure where the listing is, but if you have a listing that's near a sort of major employment area, whether it's one employer or several, doing an evening open house from 4 to 6 or 5 to 7 or whatever, when people are leaving their work and maybe they're commuting half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour away, and all of a sudden they go, man, it would be nice to live closer. Pretty sure this listing is out in the Louisa Orange area, but Klockner Pendergrass is out there, big site, and people come from all around. So an evening open house, you may catch some people. They're not going to come back in here on Sunday because they're commuting all the time, right? But they see open house signs as they're leaving, and they go, hey, I'm going to stop by there because wouldn't it be nice if I could live closer? I just heard this. I knew this was happening over in the Valley. But Krista Dreamer emailed me yesterday and told me that Amazon is creating some sort of distribution site in Louisa as well. I knew that they were doing the one, over in the Valley, but, obviously that's going to change the dynamics of people living out there and want to live close to work. I know for sure that's the case up in Northern Virginia. As soon as they announced where the Amazon facility was going to be in Arlington, sort of south of Pentagon City, that whole price thing just exploded, just absolutely exploded. Jay Dominic and I spoke to a group of UVA students the other night at their real estate club. It was pretty cool. They had about 50 people there, 50 kids, they're on kids, 6 o'clock at night, and because they have an interest in real estate. And we had a great time, and the guy that invited us said they got more questions asked than any other person that had come in, and it was because we were talking about personal. They're doing all this internal rate of return and commercial buildings and all those kind of things, and we're talking about them buying their first house. and getting a couple other people to rent with them so to pay their mortgage. And I gave them an example of somebody who bought a house 5 years ago, at 360, and now the house across the street just sold for 600, right? So anyway, doing those, evening open houses, and that's what I want to do with this time this morning, is just kind of talk about different strategies, sort of outside the box thinking in regards to, as we've been talking a lot about turning over the rocks. It's just turning over the rocks all the time. The analogy I used is being down at the creek with my grandson who's looking for any critter he can find, dead or alive, doesn't matter. And so we find some critter, whether it be little frogs or little salamanders or, mealworms, those little roly-polies, it doesn't matter. It's just a critter. And we just, we just keep on turning over rocks, trying to find something. And we find them, are we ready to capture them in whatever container, whatever. It's, stretching it, but it's the same sort of thing with real estate. We're turning over every rock. And when we come across somebody that possibly might be interested in doing something, we got to figure out how we capture them. How do we capture them, and we begin to build rapport with them, and we gain credibility with them, and we show them we care. And that's all about being prepared, not being surprised. You turn over that rock and a frog jumps out. If you're surprised, it's too late, right? If you're asking somebody if they're thinking about buying or selling, and they say, well, yeah, I might be, or do you know anybody? Yes, I am. You need to be prepared as to what you want to say next and how you're going to capture those people, and then, put them into, some sort of system, because we talk about, again, building rapport, gaining credibility, showing people we care, right? Having a system in place to show people we care. And that's what's so great about the GoHanna site. And it's going to get even better. Vincent's been on different marketing calls, and they're redoing the whole GoHanna to make it simpler, make it easier to understand. Instead of open to close, it'll say something that really communicates what it is, right? So anyway, when we talk about geographic target strategies, which is the title of this morning, I'm not just talking about a geographic farm, and that's why I changed it. I didn't say geographic farming. We talk about geographic farming all the time, about this is an area that I want to establish a farm in. I want to start, planting some seeds, fertilizing it, watering it, and hopefully out of it, listings will grow, right? And that's a really good thing to do. But I think what I'm trying to get my arms around, and Vincent's been helping with me with this, is that with, online, with digital, with geo-targeting, it's a whole new game. It's a whole new game in regards to the way you prospect, right? The basic foundation geographic farming is you send flyers out every month. You make sure you're in contact with everybody at least once a quarter, face-to-face once a year, and just trying to, get to know everybody in the neighborhood so they know that you're in the forefront of their mind when they think about real estate, right? And there's just so many other ways now that you can do that same thing. And it doesn't have to be in one little community like, where I live in Still Meadow or the lake, or, even out your way in Ivy, Todd, you can stretch it out and make it, I'm going to really be a specialist in this particular elementary school area, right? In the areas that aren't quite as cookie cutter, like Ivy, you can kind of focus in on an elementary school. Why do I say elementary school? Well, because that's when the parents are most engaged. Once they get to junior high and high school, they start releasing them. They start letting them, go to stuff without them and stuff like that. But man, in elementary school, everybody's engaged. And what a better way to find a way to build relationships. I don't even have this on this outline, but there's this focus on the elementary school, finding out about the PTO, offering to provide the snacks for back to school night, or, whatever the events are. Being the sponsor of those type of things. There's, fundraisers, right? Just this past week, and I'll get into this in a minute, but just this past week, my neighborhood Facebook page is doing they put in there that there's a fundraiser for Woodbrook Elementary, which is where the kids feed to in our neighborhood. And they're they're doing a flower and seed fundraiser, right? That you can order flowers already grown, which kind of I need versus the seeds, trying to figure out how to grow them. But you can order either, right? And so I went on and I made an order, even though I don't have any kids at Woodbrook, but I made an order to have them in my yard. But more importantly, I made an order so I could post it on the Facebook. Hey, Missy, just want to let you know, I just ordered, a bunch of stuff for the school. And it just, a lot of the people in the neighborhood, they're going to see that post and they'll go, oh, wasn't that nice of Michael to do that? Now, I did it for the right reasons, but it also has a residual effect to it, because then she responded and said, yeah, I just saw the order. Thank you so much, kind of thing. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is your strategy could be a geographic farm. Your strategy could be around an elementary school. Your strategy could be around a certain price range. It doesn't matter as long as you have a strategy, and having that strategy as to what is my outcome? If this thing really goes the way I want it to go, what is it that I want to see happen? If you take a particular area of 200 homes as an example, and I'm just making this up as I go here, but making it up sort of, but with 40 years of experience, you take a 200 area, and let's just say you do a search and you find out that 8 of those houses sold in the last year and a half. All right. Okay, so what is my outcome over the next year and a half? How many of those 8, if it stays the same, if 8, which is what, 4%, right? Something like that. So 8 to 10 is kind of what you're looking for. You want to, be around 10% of the turnover rate of what you're doing, right? What is my outcome? Well, my outcome is I want to get them all. Okay, but that's not going to happen right away. All right, so over the next year, can I get 2 of those 10? Okay, if I can get 2 of those 10 at an average sales price of 400,000 or something, all of a sudden my time has been well spent in that situation, right? And so that what you've got to be thinking about is establishing the right foundation. And when you establish the right foundation, it is about knowing where it is you want to go, right? And the kinds of things that you want to kind of build as your building blocks, right? So that you can stand and have a good opportunity to make something good happen. So what is it you're trying to accomplish? Is it price range or geographic in nature? Is it, an elementary school? Is it a community group? Is it a business? Kelly with Don and at CMA and how big that company is. That could be a really great place to just focus in on meeting people, building relationships, gaining rapport with them, credibility, showing you care. And out of that comes, incredible business. And this goes back again, and as you can see, I'm sort of scattershooting, but it goes back again to the real estate food chain, right? The real estate food chain it's got to start with contacts. If from my standpoint, getting in this business, if you can't figure out a way to have enough contacts, you're not going to be successful. I don't care how good a marketer you are, how good a negotiator you are, how well you know the contract. If you don't have a way of making contacts, you can't do any of those things with people. And so you've got the real estate food chain, and the real estate food chain is suspects, right? Everybody you meet is a possible opportunity, but they're suspect. You don't know. You qualify them, and they become prospects. You qualify them, and they become customers. You engage with them, and you get them to agree that they want you to work with them. So you get them to sign the exclusive right to represent or the listing agreement. They become clients, right? And as clients, they become buyers and sellers. And ultimately, they go from buyers and sellers to dollars earned. Okay, that's the chain. What we want to do with that chain is, as I was talking about yesterday in Dare to Be Great, we want to keep on filling the pipeline. We just want to keep on filling things into possible opportunities. When I first got in the business, I had a thing over my phone that said, "Have you gotten an appointment today?" That was just one of my goals. Have I gotten an appointment today? It might have been an appointment for 6 months from now. It might be an appointment for tomorrow. Yippee. Call an expired listing and they say, yeah, I'm interested in selling, and no, I'm not going to use the same agent. Can you come over? I mean, those are the those are the great ones, right? But then you have the ones that say, yes, I'm expired, but we're going to wait a few months before we do anything. Okay, I totally understand that. It's March, whatever it is, 29th. What are you thinking? And say, well, we're thinking about maybe putting it back on the market after the kids get out of school. Great. Would it be all right if I reached out to you middle of May? Sure, that would be great. So immediately I'm writing my handwritten note. Dear Kelly, great to talk to you today. Look forward to talking to you on May 15th. And ending that conversation, oh, by the way, the Columbo, technique, oh, by the way, what time is best for you on May 15th? Well, maybe 7 o'clock. Okay, great. I will call you at 7 o'clock, and you've got it in your calendar or on your phone and it dings or whatever at 7 o'clock. Hey, this is Michael Guthrie. Kelly, how you doing? I told you I'd call you at 7 o'clock on May 15th. Are you still thinking about selling? And all of a sudden I've gained some credibility because I said I was going to call May 15th at 7 o'clock, and here I am, right? That handwritten note behind it, sort of ties it together. Do they still do stuff sometimes without you? Yeah, but you've done everything you can in that situation and in that scenario. But again, I'm constantly trying to get appointments, constantly trying to fill in the suspects to the prospects, to the customers, to the clients. The cool thing about doing business the way that we do it here at Howard Hanna and Roy Wheeler, right, is that we do it servant-heartedly. We do it being relational versus transactional. And so when we do that, and the people have a great experience, the really cool thing about the chain is it goes from dollars earned to customers and clients because they're being referred to you. You don't have to do all the beginning stuff. They're saying, I'm calling you because you did this, and these people told me you're the person to help me, right? So again, establishing the foundation. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Is it price range or geographic in nature? And then once you kind of do that, once you start getting that together, now, okay, how am I going to implement it? I heard something, where did I hear it? I heard it yesterday. It must have been on Clubhouse, Kelly. But somebody was talking about it being the end of the first quarter, right? And they said at the beginning of the year, you decided what it was you wanted to do this year, right? And after you decided what you wanted to do this year, you determined how you were going to do it, right? So you decided what it is that you wanted to do, you determined how you were going to do it. And then what the person was saying, asked the question, how are you doing? All right, you decided, you determined, here's the first quarter. How's it going? What do your numbers look like? Are you reaching the kinds of people that you want to be reaching? Are you increasing your average sales price? Maybe I was here and now I'm, here. Am I doing those kind of things? And that goes back to, my, sort of 7Ds, right? So we decide and we're determining, it goes with me, it's the 7Ds and the fact that we dream, right? We dream what it is we want 2022 to look like. We design it, we craft it, we start thinking about, okay, this is what I want to have happen. And this is the way I'm going to get there. We develop the plan, right? And then from there, we make sure we have the desire and the discipline to cause it to happen. And the reason that we have the desire and the discipline is because there are going to be things that are going to cause you to detour. They're going to get off track and discourage you. And it takes longer than you want it to take and that kind of thing. And so the dreaming's great. The designing is great. The developing is great. But if we don't have the desire and discipline, when those detours, the 6D hits us, when those detours run in the way, we stop, we give up, no, it's taking too long, whatever. And then there's that analogy of, is it, it's not the 100th time you hit the tree before it falls over, it was the 99 before, right? If you don't do it the 100th time, you don't get to see the result of what you've accomplished. And then ultimately, if you do have that desire and discipline that you can fight through, the detours that come along the way, you reach your destiny, and the destiny would be the dream, right? And the destiny would be, whatever it was that you decided you wanted 2022 to look like, or what you want 2025 to look at. Kelly, as we walk in this morning, you're talking about, renovating the condo, all those things. You determined that we need to do this. And so then there was a design and, blah, blah, blah. It works in every aspect of things. So, so as we think about that, thoughts, as you hear what I've said for the first 15, 20 minutes of what we talked about here, what comes to your mind when you think about these as far as building your own business and creating those strategies? And Fiona, David, feel free to unmute if you have questions or thoughts.
So Michael, I just want to say thank you because coming in new, I'm like, okay, I'm not from here, what do I do? But I think you just gave me a really good plan and I can combine it with my prior experience. Meaning, I'm going to choose a place or a business to farm, and I may have 2 or 3, right? But I've learned throughout these that I have to keep it manageable so that I'm not farming 20 acres. I start with 3. So I think what I'm hearing you say is I'm going to try to find 3 places, or for me, 3 is like the number that works, so I concentrate on. But the goal that I'm hearing from you is it's going to take a little bit of time, which I've given myself a year, but that everything I do today is going to have fruit coming out, but it's a consistency that you may not see. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll tell you from coming from you that I'm still having a little bit of heart palpitations is, I passed my exam and I know that I have to do a listing agreement and all of that. I, as a new person, still feel like I'm missing the next step. Okay, I think I'm pretty good at talking to people, clearly. And I like to talk. I don't mean that, I don't have a lot of strength. God gave me a mouth and I use it. So, but you know what? I want to make sure that I get them the right technical things, right? So these are the soft skills that we need to farm ourselves in, right? But now how, a new person, when we get here and not for today, how do I now get to, okay, I found that person. Here's the agreement, here's, I want to be technically proficient. And I don't think that comes right away, but where did that start?
Yeah, and a great question. And I'm going to answer your question in 2 different ways.
Okay.
2 different ways. The first one, you're absolutely right. I love the 20 acres versus the 3-acre farm, right? I love that thought. What I like to do is break it down to saying, if I'm gonna be in touch with people 4 times a year, right? Either by phone or face to face, what's realistic there? So if you take a 200 number as an example, or 200 number, and you're going to take several days off during the month. You're not going to do this every month. Every day. So let's just say you do it 20 days of the month, right? In a quarter, that's 60 days. And what that says is I got to be in touch with 3 people every one of those 20 days. That's so easy. It's so realistic, right? But you make it 600 and you do that same thing, 20, right? 60. Now I got 10. You're not going to do it. Some people, the best of the best would do that, but most of us 10 is like, oh my gosh, I don't have time. Especially if I'm going to immediately behind those calls, write a handwritten note. It's really great to talk to you about. So that's what, from that standpoint, that's what I would be thinking about as you think about your numbers. Think about being in touch with everybody 4 times a year, and at least one of those times being face-to-face. The second thing from the technical standpoint is, one, Kelly, once you get your license and you get signed on into the Howard Hanna system, there's a class that's called Fast Start. And Fast Start is led by Nita Everton, and she walks you through the technical stuff. And then you get to the place at the end where she hands you off to me. Okay. From a standpoint of locally, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do, and you can do this right now, is you can go into what's called the Agent Hub. And you've been on there?
I'm through the class.
You've been through the contract classes of mine?
No, I went through everything on the homepage, I should say, and I've already.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm there and I'm working on it.
So if you, like when you're away, you go in the Agent Hub, there's a place, and I go paragraph by paragraph through the contract. Okay. And that's a great place to just, because what's really, really important is, and remind me before you leave here, I'll give you a copy of the contract. Because what you want to do is go through that, read it, and then in a notebook, write it as you read it as to what you think it says. Yeah. So that you can share it with Todd in a way that Todd, if he was exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, Kelly, every day is a new experience. I've been doing this for 40 years, and there's still many days where I go, when did I learn that? Or good Lord, I've never heard of that happening before, right? Todd will come in and ask me a question, and most times I have the answer. But sometimes I'll have an answer and I'm not sure. So then I need to call Bill Tucker, the attorney, and say, hey, I just told Todd this, was I right? Right? No, seriously.
I get it.
And he says, yeah, that was great. Or he said, well, I would have done, I said, yeah, I would have said a little different. I said, okay, here's Todd's number. Call him and tell him. But like the other day, we had a great conversation because we were talking about, oh, dang, what was it? The idea I gave you? Oh, it was, the seller didn't want a bunch of stuff on the internet, didn't want to do the reviews and the estimates and stuff like that. And I don't know where it came from, but out of the blue, I thought, have him run it himself because it's land. It's probably not even going to show up. And it didn't have an address. And so all of a sudden, Todd very easily is going to handle the check and say, hey, you don't have to be concerned with this because you got no address. So it's not going to show up. It's not going to show up in those places. So anyway, Todd was kind enough to text me and say, "Boy, you're good." So you know.
I think I was going to say the contract because that will instill you confidence.
Yeah,
And the technicalities.
and I apologize because the technical is not what you were here for today.
No, it's a great question.
That was, and I don't want to make you up, Kelly, so I'm working on that too. So I appreciate that because I want to just make sure that the process is there so that when I do meet people to get there, I have an understanding. So thank you. Mike.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me hit a couple things, and Vince, if you'll just maybe just come up here and stand here, or well, maybe not because we're going to share the screen. Are you prepared to share your screen? Okay, so we'll leave you there. So here's the thing. Let me just hit a couple of things, and I'm gonna let Vincent talk about some things. See right away if you can create a Facebook page for your community. If it's not already done, the cool thing about that is, one, you're providing something into the community, and two, you're in charge of it. You're the host. You can ask somebody else to do it with you, co-moderate or whatever, but anything that happens there, you can delete, you can do whatever you want to do. Same thing with Nextdoor. Go in and see if anybody has claimed your neighborhood in Nextdoor. If not, claim it. Because what you then get to do very easily is invite your neighbors. Hey, I've got this Nextdoor thing, and you're the one who's inviting it. I haven't looked at Nextdoor recently, but when I did it for my neighborhood, they literally sent out postcards for me. They sent little mailed postcards to the neighborhood saying, hey, blah, blah, blah has started this, feel free to sign up. I didn't do it. Nextdoor sent it out for me. And we've got most of the people in the neighborhood that, that are on that. You got to be careful of that because with Nextdoor, I mean, you can delineate it just down to yours. But if you're in the broad one, I mean, it's amazing the stuff that, people talk about on those things. But
and with Facebook and Instagram, you can have multiple pages. You don't have to create one page. You can do multiple pages. You do Johnson Village real estate page, just that, and plus that also increases your web visibility. So you can do like 10 pages on real estate. It's kind of a trick workaround. You don't have to have just one page.
yeah, and that's why, Vincent's in the room, because that's the kind of stuff that he's the guy behind the curtain, right? That could do these things. I got all sorts of great ideas about what to do. Now, you will be proud of me, Vincent, because I actually created an event yesterday on my own. On Facebook.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
So that's something that Vincent's done for me for the last little bit, but I said, you know what, I can do this. So yesterday I created an event for my Easter sunrise service, and got the picture and did all these different things, and screwed up a couple times, and but it's out there,
Is it going to be a live stream?
No, I don't think we're gonna live stream this year. I think it's just gonna be in person. That's a good thought, though. I mean, you could set up a computer right there, and yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Maybe we will do that. Oh,
Easter at 5 in the morning.
yeah,
On my birthday.
yeah.
It's a history there.
I was there.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we created an event. Liza's already shared it out. Don and Kelly have shared it out. So, I was pretty excited. I didn't have to come to Vince and say, I tried to do it and I didn't get it done. But anyway, if you can do them yourself, it's great. But if not, go on them on a regular basis and post good content, something that people are going to want to see, and watch to see if yours gets deleted. If you're posting stuff and the moderator or whatever is deleting it, then reach out to them and say, hey, it looks like you've deleted some of my stuff. I don't want to overstep my bounds, blah, blah, blah. But if you know of different things, and that goes into what, I'm going to have Vincent talk about with Search Charlottesville. You can go on Search Charlottesville. You can see, a couple events, and you can post those onto the Facebook page. You don't have to paste the link because people, get tired of seeing the link. Just find a couple of things to say, hey, these are things you might be interested in doing. Offer to do a food or paper drive on a Saturday morning. Do a nicest yard in the neighborhood contest. Have a go up to Snow's or somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna do this nicest yard in the neighborhood. Would you give me a gift certificate and I'll advertise your establishment? And just have a $50 gift certificate or something, and do a nicest yard in the neighborhood contest. I've done the food drive in my neighborhood a number of times, and didn't even know at that point that we had a Facebook page. I don't even have to do the flyers anymore. Next time I do it, I'll just say, hey, we're doing the food drive on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm not having, because people, most people don't get newspapers anymore. So I drive down the street and I still see my flyers from 2 months ago in the newspaper boxes. But the Facebook page is a perfect place.
You also create an event on Facebook and share to that group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There you go. So, and then doing things like what Beth Ann's doing in Louisa with this Clean Up Louisa project. It's all about consistent posting and mailings, or whatever, and then using open houses. You can go into the roadmap for success and look at the outlines for maximizing an open house. You can decide an open house every 2 weeks, and you'll have more to do in prospecting and generating leads by trying to get the word out about that open house than anything else. And then the other thing too is creating a contest where you can gather emails. Figuring out a contest, whether it's getting a gift certificate or whatever the case may be, where people have to email you for that information, or getting with Vincent and creating what we've done a couple of different times, a contest through what is now called Open to Close, where it goes out and people sign up and register, and it immediately downloads into your CRM, into your Howard Hanna CRM. All the information's there. You can create the group, and then from then on, you can send out Hanna e-cards or whatever the case may be. And this is where I'll hand it off to Vincent. Vincent, I'm gonna share the screen for you, because what I want to do here is make sure we understand the tools that are available to us. Make host mute me. All right, cool.
You just turn the volume on your system down, your computer.
I think it's coming out here.
Go ahead.
I just want to talk.
Okay. I love the reverb. So if you go on the Agent Hub this week, I added some Howard Hanna U classes on each day of the week. Those aren't happening in real time, but they're just kind of things that I think the agents would appreciate, and it kind of dips your toe in the water to some of the tech tools that we have in Howard Hanna and Go Hanna. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully it'll all work out. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is in Go Hanna. So you log into Go Hanna and you see Boost right here. So Boost is the kind of programmatic ads that you get a 5-day campaign when you get a listing, and it just pushes that listing out to the internet on national sites and in social media. So the thing about Boost is now Boost runs the your new agent app. So if you want to share the link for your app, you would log into GoHanna, log into Boost, just click here, and it looks like that. And you'll see up here at the very top, share your app. Okay, and what that is because you're logged in, it gives you a unique link right here. See, my name is at the end of it, and that you can share to your clients. Now, if your clients have an,
Where's your name? I'm sorry.
see where it says copy link here? See at the very end, right there, you'll see. Do you see that right here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see now.
Right
Thank you.
there. Yeah. So what that is, because you're logged in and you're in your account, it automatically creates that link that is specifically you. So what you're going to do is you're going to share that to your clients via text. You can send a text invite at the top here. You can text a code. You can put it on a website. You can do all sorts of stuff. But what that is branded to you. Now, if your potential clients have an iPhone and they update their apps, it'll automatically update with the new app. If you have anything other than an iPhone, they have to delete the app and go into wherever they get apps, like Google Play or wherever, and re-download the Howard Hanna app. But it's a super robust app now. It's branded to you, and there will be training for agents. It's very easy. What you do is you claim the app yourself, and then anything that your clients see will be under your name. So that is the app. The other thing that, there we go. The other thing that we want to look at is this GoHanna site. So you'll see it's very kind of clunky. Calendar's good, but all this stuff, like when I first logged in, I looked at it and it was just like I was blinded by just stuff, which means nothing to me. I don't know what any of this means. And then if you go up here to marketing, there's just tons of tools. We have more tools than we can count. So what our marketing director did with Kevin, our IT director, is what they did is they kind of refaced and reimagined this whole GoHanna to make it a much simpler and more transparent user experience. So I don't know what the names are going to be yet. I haven't got to see what it'll look like, but I'm assuming, and what I'm hearing is that like open to close will actually be called something like open house registration or something like that. And buy side will be home value estimator or something like that. Real Scout will be client listing search or something. So it'll all be a much cleaner experience for you guys and much easier to use. And that's the thing. If you guys have to decode what the experience is here, what these tools are, then odds are you're not going to use them. So that should be coming. It was supposed to be released a while back, but they wanted to hold off for a bit. So that's coming down the pipe. Let's see what else. You want to talk about Search Charlottesville? Can we talk about that?
Neighborhood news.
Neighborhood news. Let's do that.
I mean, while you're in there.
Yeah. So under your Engage CRM here, there is a couple automations you can do. Once you get your contacts into Engage, and I can help you with that, or Ben can help you with that. You can sign your clients up for what is like a monthly newsletter, and that is an automated task that sends your client like a newsletter with listings and other information, real estate centric information on your behalf every month. So it's not an assault of marketing, it's a very soft approach, but it's another touch that you probably would forget every month if you're doing it manually, right? You've got a million other things going on. So neighborhood news is a good one. The other thing is buy side is a wonderful way to get potential clients and potential sellers. If you're in conversation with somebody, send them the link to your buy side. You have one. It's on your agent webpage, and it's called What's My Home Value or something like that. And when they put their address in, you will get notified that someone checked out their home estimated value. Now, there's also an option for them to sign up for another monthly newsletter that every month will update them on their equity, basically, and how many people in the area are looking to buy in that type of home and that price range. And it's a lot of information that is good for an agent. It's also good for the client. So
Talk to them about the email signature too.
email signature, yes. Your email signature, you can actually put, there's a link, and I can help you guys with all this. Don't make a career out of trying to figure it out if you can't figure it out. I mean, I can help you. At the bottom of your email signature says, check your home value. It's a link that goes straight to your buy side.
So every email you send out,
Yeah.
we'll see that. If they, they read your email, they'll see that. And at one point, they get tempted to click on that.
Yeah. And I mean, we could go on for hours, but these are the top line at the top here is what I think you should start focusing on. I would start with Engage, and then use Real Scout and Buy Side and Open to Close, obviously, for open houses. It's homes in the West Coast, and then Boost is something that you could use with a listing, or you could actually use it for agent branding. So if you really want to get your face and your name out there, and you want to put a little budget into your marketing, check out Boost. I'm going to be sitting with you, Kelly, once you get your email and password, and we're going to go over all this. So as a new agent, you're going to be kind of getting it all.
Yeah, and I apologize because what I have access to is the homepage with the calendar.
Yeah.
So how do you get, so I won't
So-
get here until I get that information?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
your Howard Hanna login
Gotcha.
and email, and that kind of opens up the world for you.
Okay,
And
I've
so
done all my study night
And
and.
she should get that anytime because we've sent her paperwork.
yeah, Mary
So-
sent it in yesterday, and so we're just waiting. I think Cora is probably doing it.
Okay, great. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
you'll get an email on your regular email, Kelly, that'll be able to log in. With your regular email, you'll get a, unique password, and then you can change it to whatever. And then the other thing that I would say, as it relates to, getting in here with the, where was I going? Oh, the Hannah E-card. That's going back to what I was talking about before with, as you get more emails, you can group them into friends, neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. And then you can go in and pick a particular card, electronic card, and you can personalize the message to each group. It doesn't have to be the same. That's why I like that better than the campaign, because campaign is static. It's what it is, but the Hannah E-cards, and it's so easy. You can do them and just, it doesn't take long at all. And I figured it out. And, again, I'm not that technologically adept. So talk about Search Charlottesville, Vincent.
Okay, so along with the partnership with the merger with Howard Hanna, we always said that we're going to retain our local standing here. We've been here for almost 100 years. We didn't want that to just go by the wayside with this merger. So what we did was we kind of repurposed the old Roy Wheeler site, and we bought a new domain called Search Charlottesville, and it looks like this. So let's see if that works. There it is. And what that is excuse the little thing at the top, I'm still working on. It's a kind of a curated list of listings, real estate, hotels, and then events, local events. So it's for the visitor, it's for someone who lives here, it's for the hotels to give to their visitors in the hotel, because everyone asks them, what is there to do around here? What's the occasion? They give them this. So as you scroll down, you'll see some featured listings here. And then scroll a little further, there's some featured hotels. And then at the end, there's some events here. So the event calendar is curated, comes from a local company called Scene Think. They also do Seaville Weekly, and they also, I think they do the Washington Post. They do a couple big newspapers. However, it's really cool. It's what it is there's a collection of local calendars in the community. When someone puts an event in, they hit promote and it just splinters out to all the other calendars. It's like a hub. So we kind of coalesced all this into one page, and then Michael and I are out to hotels peddling it. So what we're trying to do is get the visitor, get the local, and then get the hotels on our site. So it's very exciting.
When you say Charlottesville events, are we talking just the city of Charlottesville?
No, it's
How far out do you go?
county.
Far enough to do your vineyard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Vineyard.
I mean, you're.
My
far
farm.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
You
sure.
knew that's where I was going. I want, because you know I'm going to be with business cards, right? That's my
Self-serving.
farm. You got that, right?
Yeah, we
Just
definitely.
get Vincent. Get Vincent.
Because we are doing events. We're doing events, and then I want to, I'm doing everything strategically for all the right reasons.
So what you can do is you can actually create a free account with SceneThink and set up your
Okay.
own calendar, and you can push events and it'll actually appear. It'll appear on there.
We'll talk.
But the cool thing about this is not only,
Mhm.
yes, you want to.
The cool thing about this is that you not only want to be able to send this out, this link out, but going back to what we were talking about before, finding different events, right? And getting the actual URL for that event. And that's what you post on your neighborhood Facebook page or whatever, because you're sending in specific information, one or two things, right? Whereas if, this is great to put them in here, but once they go in there, they have it.
Yeah.
Right? And so every so often to put the link in there is no problem, but what you want to be doing is putting individual things in from time to time so that people see you as somebody, making the community better, or your whether it's a community group or church group or whatever, that you're doing things to make that a more enjoyable experience, right? And that's why then people, one, are grateful, but two, they begin to see you as the source of the source, which is what we talk about all the time. And we're really trying to impact and successfully do a good job with the strategies, right? The key is that people, we're going to call you about plumbers, electricians, whatever. And that again is another thing about the agent only Facebook page. Pay attention to the agent only Facebook page, because not only do people ask for recommendations, but when the people give recommendations, you got them, you have them. And then Vincent pays attention to that. And as we vet people, we have a preferred vendor list.
Mhm.
And that's on Search Charlottesville, right?
It's on the agent hub,
Oh, it's on the agent hub.
but I can put it on Search Charlottesville. Sure.
Yeah, but so you got a preferred vendor. So when somebody asks you, instead of going, I don't know, just remember in your head, oh wait, I don't know. I'm pretty sure preferred vendors is gonna know.
Yeah.
And so you go in there and then you can, be the source of the source in that.
And also when you come across the vendor that is preferred, right? Let me know and we'll add it to the list, because the more local vendors, the better.
Yep.
So moving forward on this, once we get a couple more hotels in the fold, we'll start putting a campaign into Northern Virginia and Richmond and Charlottesville of just shedding some light on this and getting traffic to it, the web traffic. So once that starts going, I have no doubt, we've all had positive responses to this so far. Haven't really gotten any negatives on it. People are really open to it, so.
Yeah, in
Just
fact,
another avenue.
a couple people we talked to, they feel like it's a gift, because this one gal we talked to at a hotel told us that when they ask what's there to do, she just sends them to the University of Virginia site. She doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And she said, well, now all you have to do is, well, let's create something. All you gotta do is give them a piece of paper with the QR code and say, here you go. And it's gonna drive them to our listings.
So one hotel Michael picked up on, because we had a flyer with a QR code, and she said, oh, we use those for the channels on television. There's a QR code on the TV. And Michael said, Michael's thought was, why don't we just put a QR code right next to that in the room?
They're printing them anyway.
Yeah, printing them anyway. And then not only get your in-house entertainment, but you've got your local entertainment as well, right there, out of the room.
So we need to follow back up with those folks.
Yeah,
'Cause we got dissed by the person that's gonna make the decision, but the gal that met with us.
She owes us now.
Yeah. But the guy that met with us thought, yeah, this could really be helpful. It wasn't like, it was like, we were really gonna, and that's what we want to do. We want to be a help to these hotels. I sent it over to a friend of mine who works at Boar's the other day, and he said, I think we'll be very interested in this. So, anyway, yeah.
So the other thing is, feel free to always reach out to me if you're stuck or you need help or you have an idea. Let's flesh it out. I'm always available to help. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
I'll make you the host now. How's that?
All right, thanks.
Mhm.
You stop sharing the screen too. Any other thoughts or questions? You know, hopefully this has been helpful just as far as brainstorming, kind of getting some things, you know, as you try some of these things and you find that they work, let us know because, you know, we obviously want to do that. Fiona's on the call and, you know, we're engaged in Greene County with Oktoberfest and the 4th of July and we're looking at, have we done anything with the, have we done that yet? Yeah, so we're sponsoring Groove and Green, which is a monthly type of thing. And again, QR code will send those people. We've got a place where when somebody, you know, clicks on that QR code, they're going into Engage now and we've captured them and we're sending something out to them on a regular basis. So yeah, I got the billboard in green as well. So anyway, well, thanks you guys for joining us. David, keep us posted. Oh, speaking, I got to shout out to David for a minute. And hopefully, David, you're listening. I'd love for you to unmute and talk about it. David got a great opportunity to be on I Love Seville last week. He did an all Spanish homebuyer seminar with Ricardo from UVA Credit Union. Went so well that some folks picked up on it and they had him live this past week on I Love Seville. And David, can you unmute and tell us how that went?
Hey, Michael. Can you hear me?
Hang on. I got it. Hang on. Try again.
Hey, Michael. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Cool. Yeah, it was really nice. I met with Alex and Nick Upry a little while ago. They host that basically the bilingual side of I Love Seville. And it was really nice. So me and Ricardo ended up being on the show last week. They had 2 other entrepreneurs there from an antique shop first, and then it was us. So it was a cool conversation. You know, we had a little bit of statistics and some cool stuff to share with them, but it was more about, you know, getting that exposure and more than anything. I mean, they say they have like they were hitting like 9,000 viewers. So it was kind of cool to just get on there and had a great conversation. And hopefully some stuff comes out of that. So it was nice.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And were you able to follow along on the conversations? You know, people putting things in the link and stuff. Did you get a fair amount of traction in regards to people asking questions and stuff?
So, I mean, same thing that we discovered from our Spanish buyer seminar. I think a lot of people don't watch it at the time being, but it just lives on there and then just watch in the future because they say that after we air it, they put it on, I think YouTube and Instagram and I think even Spotify or something else. So it kind of just lives there for a while and you know, it does their own thing. So. While we were interviewing, you know, we had our friends and family and stuff chime in, of course. But after that, I did get a potential client just reach out to me like, hey, what area do you work in? You know, and so that was 20 minutes well spent there.
Yeah, for sure. There you go. Yeah. And again, that's the other thing, thinking outside the box in regards to where do you live, you know, as an example, if for whatever reason you live in an area he's not interested in, you know, you've got the Howard Hanna network and you've got the Leading RE network. So, you know, hey, I may not be able to help you, but I can make sure I get you with a good person. And that's another wonderful, you know, thing to, you know, kind of forget from time to time. And, you know, so we never have to say no. Hey, we can help you wherever it is that you're thinking about doing things. So
yeah,
well, great job. Thanks for doing that, and keep us posted in regards to how the open house goes this weekend as well.
Yeah. Beth and I have the open house. We should do it around the same time to try to send business each other's way. Maybe even, you know, get something out of that. So that was nice. And did I mention to you a little while ago, I kind of farmed my neighborhood by inviting a food truck over and then just kind of chatting up with my neighborhood and everything. It was really nice. So I invited a guy that I knew that has a food truck. I invited him to come to our neighborhood, and he just set up, and we had like 40 people come out and buy food, and I was just there. I bought some beers, and I was literally just meeting my neighbors and chatting and having some food. It was nice. And after that, my Facebook, the neighborhood Facebook was just kind of filled with positive information. So it was good.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because that's, I mean, it costs you whatever, it costs you a few 6-packs of beer, but everybody else was paying for the food. I mean, that's a really good budget conscious kind of thing that you did a lot of good. So that's awesome. All right, man. Well, listen, have a good day, you guys. We'll catch up with you soon.